Evening people, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing alright. We're back tonight with P1RC's Renault Megane Trophy Cup. So we are live for round 4 from Dragon Trail Seaside. This is the track with the chicane of death, so it's a great big triangle with 3 varying chicanes in it. First chicane being a little bit tricky with a 90-degree left-right into an almost hairpin. And then down through the sweeping chicane left and right down towards the second hairpin, and then it comes the worst one of all, the chicane of death. It's a fast in and fast out. It's a very tight exit as well, and then down to the final hairpin. Start finish straight again. So we've got a 20-minute practice and then a 40-minute race for you guys tonight. It's a reverse grid from last week's results. Let's just have a look. Let's see who we got in. Don Dotter, Pilgrim Paddy, Stewie Mac, West Ham Daz, Hyder Rider, Reg GT, Rear Wheel 72, Dory Dory, Baggy Snails, Big Les Kun, Rousey and Baba, Zuzim, Steve Scooby, Dizzy, Winnie. So looking like we've got a full one tonight. 16 of 16, that's good. This has been a popular league, this one. So let's just fire ourselves on track and get everything all sorted out first. Not that one. Let's go and stick it with Dizzy. First man out on track. So I will throw up. I haven't got the standings. I've got the results from last week, which will be the grid order. Have I got standings? Yes, I have got standings. Hold on, people. Let me see if I can do that. See if I can do that live. You know what? I think I probably can. Hold fire, people. Where's that gone? So just give me a few seconds, people, while I try and sort this out. Oh no, I can't do it live. Oh, I don't think I can anyway. So if I start messing about with it now, I'll turn the stream off. But I will just bring up this image quickly. Where's that gone? Why can't I see it? This one here. So this is last week's results. So Zuzim's finished in P1, Don Dotter P2, Rowland P3. So it's a reverse grid order of what you can see on screen there. Reg GT, dropping by for a quick hello to the Big Smoker, thank you very much. Racing tonight. See how Reg GT gets on. Finished in 8th last week. So yeah, reverse grid order. We are one missing off that list, but I can't physically see it. So it's whoever it was in 15th will be on pole. I'm sure we'll find out at the start of this. As I say, it is a 20-minute race, 20-minute practice, and then a 40-minute race. And Pilgrim Paddy will be in P2. Winnie in P3, Stewie Mac P4, Fizzrookers P5, West Ham Daz P6. Hyder Rider P7, Reg GT in P8, Rear Wheel in P9, Dory Dory P10, Baggy Snails in 11, The Big Les Cunt in 12th, Raoul in 13th, Don Dotter in 14th, and Zuzims in 15th. That will be grid order for tonight. Standings. Well, Zuzims is currently running away with this one. He's got 3 wins on the bounce. He's got 2 fastest laps as well. Closest rival is Rousey and Babbitt in 2nd. Let's just switch to a different driver. Not that. That's not what we wanted to do. He's going to take on a different view as well. So Raoul in 2nd. He is on 44 compared to Zuzim's 65. 1 point behind Rousey N is the Dom Dotter, 43, and on 36 points in 4th is Baggy Snails, Big Les Cun in 5th, Reg GT in 6th, Rear Wheel 72 in 7th, Weed Hopper 8th, Dizzy AO3 9th, Dory Dory in 10th, Fizz Ruckus 11th, Winnie in 12th, West Ham does 13th, Steve Scooby 14th, Stewie Mac 15th, Hyder Rider 16th, and Pilgrim Paddy 17th. So who was it we were missing off that first list? Lists now. So this is the chicane of death, the infamous. I've got Rear Wheel 72 ghosting out through here, so he won't be going full speed at all. You can see there will be some collisions into one of those 3 walls there coming out of that. Let's go and have let's go on board with our man Reg GT. Go on board for a lap with you, sir. So down the start finish straight then. Around this little kink to the right, hard on the brakes just at the start of that curve in there, into this left-right 90-degree chicane, both the in and the out at 90 degrees. Back hard on the power, across the curve there on the left. Getting full power around this right-hander. It looks tighter than it actually is. Braking halfway through that curve for this hairpin. Loads of curb there for Reg GT. Coming out wide to the outside, back down the hill towards the easy chicane. I say easy, it's not if you get it wrong. So down into 4th, trying to cut that curb on the left, and then just dig 2 wheels all the way over on that one on the right, and the same on this one on the left, running out wide onto the curb on the right. Over the hill, keeping it tight to the left. Braking about 150, 125 meters or feet, whichever it's measuring in. Hard on the brakes for this hairpin. On the power as early as possibly can without running into the wall. Full power into the chicane of death through both of those apexes there. And this is the corner you've got to be careful of. So you see Reg GT just taking it easy through their little lift, just to gain composure on the car. Down into 3rd gear, hitting that apex on the inside, running it out to the outside, back onto the start finish straight then. He's coming into the pits as well. So that's a lap on board with Reg GT around Dragon Trail Seaside. So only a 20-minute practice this one, no qualifying. It is a reverse grid from last week's results. Zuzim's Dom Dotter and Raoul taking 1st, 2nd and 3rd last week. They will have to start from the back. Let's change that view up. Oh, bit of a punt there from the driver behind. Who was that? I don't know. I forget where his brake pedal was then by the looks of it. Baggy, evening mate, how you doing? Hopefully everyone will have a good race. So third place last week, Raoul started right near the back of the pack in 13th. Himself, Don Dotter and Zuzum's all the work to do to fight through the pack. Did I see Zuzum's in the lobby? Yes, he's in the lobby. So Zuzum's will start right from the back. Dizzy Aero 3 with the fastest laps in his practice at 1:42.9. As I say, it is just a practice. Nothing to be gained from putting the fastest laps in until the race at least. Obviously no extra points awarded for pole positions as it's awarded from race positions last race. Some great big dark smoker stickers being chucked around all over the place. Do appreciate that, boys. Some of you lads have been sending me in photos of showing me photos of where you've stuck them. We've got remote control cars, PlayStations, sim rigs. That's kind of the general gist of it. I'll chuck up a photo tomorrow of Bob Bristow's remote control car he's done. We're looking at a blurred screen. So just a few minutes left then for these guys to try and get their eye in. It's an awkward track at speed through the chicane of death if you're battling it out with someone. Easy to catch a wall on the way in or out. As you just saw Don Dotter, I'm not sure if he scraped his door handle, maybe his wing mirror through there. Very close to that outside wall on the exit of that. But Dizzy did make it through clean. He did lose the back end of these mid-rear Renaults. They are quite loose. Through the first chicane of the track. It's a nice track when you get it right. It's awful when you get it wrong. I did race this in the GTTCC 2-3 weeks ago. I didn't have a good one. Several laps I caught the exit of that chicane. Many swears that night, many swears. So we should just have 5 minutes left of this practice. Enough time to get a couple of laps in. Full lobby as well, that's good to see. I think we've got some donuts happening already. Yep, here we go. Okay, they're running it as a 15-minute practice then. Apologies, I thought it was 20 minutes. So round 4, live from Dragon Trail Seaside in Croatia. Who was it that stuck himself on pole? It was Pilgrim Paddy, so whoever it was that we were missing off that first list, obviously didn't turn up in the lobby, so Pilgrim takes it. So he's on full revs. Can we get a different view at any point? That's not bad. I still can't see any lights. Oh, it's a rolling start anyway, so it makes no odds. I forget this is the first time I've commentated over a rolling start. I keep forgetting. So they're away then, heading down the start finish straight. Oh, I'm not sure. Looks like we've had a bit of an issue. I think we're having a restart. Renault 72 is going sideways, can't get himself straight. So we're still getting lobby issues then, even with the update that came the other day. I was meant to fix the penalty issue and it still hasn't. Polyphony, come on, there must be algorithms in YouTube's listening thing connected to the FBI that says it listens and says polyphony, and then polyphony can take note, listen, sort your lobbies out. So I'm just waiting for everyone to rejoin, and then we will get back on with this race. Go Dory trying to do a lap in reverse. I did say it the other night, it only takes about 30-35 seconds before the guys start losing their minds a little bit. So we've got people reversing around, we've got people doing donuts, we've got Dotter off track, we've got a ghost. What else? We've got Hide a Rider, doing little burnouts. You don't need to practice your starts, it's a roller. Rahul Sien's ghosting out, rear wheels trying to destroy his tyres. Stewie Max going in reverse, front and rear damage. Sensible Pilgrim sitting in the pits, as Zuzim's Dizzy Baggy Winnie, Reg GT. So have we got everyone in the room? We've got a full 15. So rear wheel's got some serious damage on his car. It's a good job it'll repair itself at the start of this race. Still messing about then while they just wait for the grid to be resorted. Scooby now with damage. Sideways glitching from Dom Dotter. I hope that doesn't affect the race. for at the minute. We've got all drivers in the lobby. Let me just jump out and go and have a quick look at race settings. I forget what time fuel's on. So tyre wear is on times 12 and fuel depletion's on times 3. So I expect to see those tyres wearing out pretty damn quick. So we are about to start this race again. Let's hope we don't get any more issues. It's a rolling start with Pilgrim Paddy leading them away. It is going to be an awkward first turn. Goes into the 90-90 chicane. A little flash of the lights from Stewie Mac there. So we'll wait for them to set off. Not keen on the rolling starts. I do find there's big gaps in between the drivers a little bit. So they're away then. Let's hope we don't get any more issues. It looks good so far. Reasonably stable start. Everyone filing into line to get the slipstream down the start finish straight round this little kink to the right down towards this chicane then. Winnie go for a move instantly on Pilgrim Paddy. A little bit of contact between those two drivers, I think. Winnie taking the lead for now. Stewie Mac up into second then. Hyder Rider third. West Ham Daz fourth. Reg GT fifth. Looking to make a bit of a move on West Ham Daz. A little bit too far back into this first hairpin. We've got rear wheel 72. West Ham Daz slowed right down, so he's going to lose a few places here. Down to fifth already. Sixth now. Dory in seventh. Looking to make a move also. Just looking at West Ham Daz has run himself wide again. Oh, and he's caused issues. I think he's caused Baggy Snails to get involved in a bit of a T-bone. Where's Baggy Snails gone? Yeah, so Baggy Snails I think got caught up in that. He's now sitting in 14th place. West Ham Daz in 15th. So Stewie Mac then takes the lead. He's looking to P1. Hyder Rider second as they head into the chicane of death. Oh, everyone getting through there cleanly so far. So Stewie Mac leading them around then after lap one. He's got Hyder Rider and Reg GT right on his rear bumper. Hyder Rider's bolted to him, looking to make a move down the inside. Reg GT's now got a bit of a tow. He's decided to try and go for a slingshot around the outside of both of them. He's got a good run as well. So he's just had to back out of that one and allow Hyder Rider to slip through as he got the slipstream off of Stewie Mac. So Stewie pushed down into third now then. Into fourth. He's got big rear wheel 72 right on his rear bumper. Oh, that's Dory run wide. He's in the sand, losing positions. So down in ninth now. So Rousey and Babaru started quite near the back of the pack, up into fifth position already. Looking to hunt down Winnie in fourth while fending off the three drivers behind. Zuzim's also starting from the back. He won last week's race. So started from 15th position. He's also up into 6th already. So Zuzim's in his pink and purple liveried car. With Les Kuntz 7th. It was 72 now, 8th position. Being overtaken by those few drivers there. Into the chicane of death once again. Oh, looks like Rousey and Baba might have clipped the wall. He has. So he's dropped a couple of positions now, down in 7th. He's promoted a couple of the other drivers. Has Raul picked up much damage? He's got a little bit to his rear. Should repair repair itself. So still some good fights going on here as we head into lap 3. So we've got people throwing themselves into the pits already. So Dizzy in 6th then. Laurie in 7th, Steve Scooby 8th, Raoul in the pits getting the fuel. As I say, I think damage is on light, is it? Or does he have to get that repaired? No, he's got to get that repaired. Okay, so damage on heavy in this one then. Baggy Snails, who got inveigled, he ended up T-boning West Ham Daz in the start of lap 1 there. West Ham Daz just got it a bit wrong coming out one of those hairpins. Sorry, through the chicane, second chicane. It got chucked all over the place. Unfortunately, Baggy Snails just T-boned him. So Hyder Rider then has got a bit of a lead over the drivers behind. He's got 2 seconds now. Stewie Mac in 3rd. He's under pressure from Zuzims though. He's got the inside line though, has Stewie Mac. He's held his nerves. Zuzims having to duck back into 3rd, but he's got the switch back and he's got the inside line on Stewie Mac as they head into the chicane of death. Let's go on board with Stewie Mac now as he follows Zuzims through the chicane of death. A little lift there by Stewie Mac. I don't blame him either. So Zuzims then from the back of the pack up into 2nd already. Now under pressure from Dizzy, who's moved up into 4th position. Dizzy's run down the inside of him. Stewie Mac's not had a good run there. A few drivers chucking themselves in the pits then now. Zuzims comes in, Stewie Mac comes in, Big Les comes in. So Hyder Rider stays out, 3.4 second lead he's got currently. Dizzy up into 2nd. We will in 3rd. Steve Scooby in 4th. Zuzims back out the pits then, 5th position for him currently. Don Dotter 7th. Let's come in 6th, just been overtaken by Don Dotter then as he's coming at full race pace. So Big Les comes 7th then, Winnie in 8th, Dory 9th, Stewie Mac 10th now. Rousey and Baba in 11th, Reg GT 12th, Baggy Snails in 13th, Pilgrim Paddy 14th, West Ham Daz in 15th. Rider then extending that lead up to 2.2 seconds over Dizzy in 2nd. With a cool dark smoker livery on his car. It's pretty cool there, Hyder, thank you. Dizzy also, next man on track, also with an awesome dark smoker inspired livery. Clean through the chicane then, Steve Scooby clean through the chicane. Zuzims in 5th then, looking to get back into the podium positions. Clean through the chicane also, Don Dotter and Big Les through the chicane cleanly. Dory through, Winnie's through, Stewie Mac's through, Ralph's through, GT's through. You can see how loose they become as they hit those curves. Baggy Snails through. Pilgrim Paddy then heading towards it. West Ham Daz only 2.5 seconds back from him himself. So Pilgrim's through. West Ham Daz is through also. So I think Hyder Rider's come in the pits. Let's just have a quick look. He has, so he's coming for just over half a tank, a fresh set of racing mediums. So that has promoted Dizzy up into P1. He will have to pit though any second. So Wheel 72 up into 2nd also. Quite long these guys. Steve Scooby in 3rd, also running long. Zuzims had to come in quite early. A lot of the drivers picking up Shaman, go Diz, if that's, am I saying that right? Shaman, I don't know. Shemaine, that's what I'm saying. Let's go and have a look at Diz. So Diz getting shout outs on the stream then. He's got a 1.5 second lead over Rear Wheel 72. He might come in the pits this lap. He might stop out again. He's stopping out. Rear Wheel also is stopping out. Steve Scooby's decided he's going to come in this lap. So Zuzims will promote himself up into fourth then. Sorry, third. So Big Les Cutton has managed to get past Don Dotter. He's up into fourth and fifth for those pair respectively. Running side by side down that start finish straight. Big Les has got the inside line into this first chicane though. So he holds that position, but Don Dotter's got a pretty good run out. To make a bit of a late move into this first hairpin. Don't think he's close enough. So Big Les then up into fourth. Don Dotter fifth, Hyder Rider back up into sixth position. Was leading this race for a while. Dory seventh. Own a little bit in a minute. Dory, Steve Scooby also a couple of seconds either way for him. Now CM Baba slowly pushing his way back through the pack, 9th position. So Winnie in 10th. He's under intense pressure from Reg GT though. Reg GT's got the inside line down this first little section, but Winnie, if he keeps his nose in front, will have the inside line for this hairpin here. He does do. Just trying to lose his 8-second penalty. Winnie, what have you been doing? Must have sworn at the chicane of death or something. Give it an inappropriate hand gesture or something. 8 seconds. Poor blimey. Stewie back then, he's also holding a little bit of a penalty. 12th position, currently 1.8 seconds his penalty. Maggie Snails also 4.8 seconds, 13th position. West Ham Daz currently 14th, managed to get himself past Pilgrim Paddy. West Ham Daz is also pit, so he must have done that on track. So we will see Diz coming into the pits then. Sean, evening mate, how you doing? Shisha Main, if you're still watching, we're about to see Diz come in the pits. He's only got 2.7 second, 2.6 second lead over Rear Wheel behind him. So he's going to be very lucky to hold that position. Well, he won't hold that position at all. I don't even think he'll be able to hold it from Zuzims. He may just get out in front of Don Dotter and hold third position. Dotter now has got back past Les Cutton. So these two battling it out for a couple of laps. Dizzy also got fastest lap of the race currently, 1:42.8. So it's a lap 7. Such a dangerous chicane, that one's such a dangerous chicane. So Dizzy in the pits then. Rear Wheels come in the pits. Zuzims, what's he's going to do? He's going to stop out. So up into first for Zuzims. Dizzy comes out of the pits. What does he come out? Comes out in second. So yeah, he's managed to keep that position from Rear Wheel 72, as Rear Wheel 72 came into the pit as well. But now he's got Don Dotter and Big Les Cutton right on his tail. Don Dotter making a bit of a break from Big Les as well. Big Les holding a penalty. Some big penalties being chucked out tonight. So Rear Wheel down in 5th then. Be able to gain a bit of time on Big Les in front due to that penalty he's holding. in 6th, so gap's starting to spread out a little bit. Rousey and Baba got in V-Good in some trouble at the start of the race, picked up some damage, had to pit. Started from the back of the pack anyway, ended up in, I think 11th when he came out of the pits. Nudge GT in 8th then. Tell your mates, tell your mum on the front of his car if you didn't see that. Just there. Rider 9th then. He also is leading this one for a fair old chunk. Little clip of the wall on the exit. Those curbs are quite big, they do unsettle the cars quite a lot. Winnie's managed to lose some of his 8-second penalty, he's got it down to 7.2. He's coming under pressure from the other penalty holder, 4.7 second Baggy Snails. Baggy's coming in the pits though, so that pressure relieved for Winnie in front. So Baggy's come in, Stewie Max come in, West Ham Daz, he's got plenty of fuel on board, he may need tyres in a lap or two's time. Paddy catching the wall on the way into the chicane. Slowed him down for the exit, managing to keep it clean through there. So we've got Zuzum's out in front. He's only got a little bit of fuel left. He's got a 5-second gap over Dizzy. Dizzy didn't take on board much fuel though in that last pit stop. So although he may be able to get past Zuzim's when he comes in the pits, I don't think the gap's going to be big enough for him to keep that position when he has to pit. He's still got to fend off Don Dotter as well. He's only half a second back, but he can see Zuzim's in front. That gap is coming down slowly between the P1 and P2 drivers. He's got it down to 4.5 seconds. Zuzim's has come in the pits anyway. So Wheel's going to come through. Steve Scooby, possibly. So it's a bit awkward knowing where people are going to come out. It does shift the positions round as they sort of cross the pit entrance. But the driver might already be leaving the pits, and by the time he gets to the end of the pits, the positions all swap back again. It can be a little bit awkward. Steve Scooby in 4th then, coming under pressure from Rousey and Baba. Raul's been fighting his way back through the pack since an incident at the start of the race. Currently in 5th, he's got a good chunk of fuel on board. The tyres are looking a little bit worn, but 5th nonetheless. He's got Zuzim's 3.7 seconds back as well. He's just been in the pits for fresh tyres, just over half a tank. So he'll be able to run pretty long, just under 23 minutes left of this race. So Reg GT, his tyres looking pretty battered. Still got a quarter of a tank as well if he decides to try and burn that out. He's got Hyder Rider closing him in though. 8th position for Hyder currently. Dory only 1.5 seconds back from Hyder. Big Les Kun after his recent pit stop, now 14.8 seconds back in 10th. Baggy Snails still not managed to get past Winnie yet. Oh sorry, yes he has, apologies. So up into 11th for Baggy then. Still holding on to that penalty. I think he's going to hold on to that one to the end. Winnie just clipping the exit of the chicane of death. 12th position. Stewie Mac then not long been in the pits. 13th. West Ham Daz in 14th. He's only 11 seconds back from West Ham Daz. Gap coming down as well. 10.7. West Ham Daz is on a charge now. Paddy still just rolling about at the back. It's good to see Pilgrim Paddy do this. A lot of people would get a bit miffed. He does have a few bad races, but sticks with it. It's all you know, points on the board for him, and it's just the racing, I suppose, he enjoys more than anything. I suppose a bit like me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't mind coming sort of right at the back every race, which seems to have happened this season in my GTCC season. But it's just the battling with someone. That's what I'm in it for. Maybe that's what Pilgrim's here for. So Dizzy back into the lead then, 8.6 seconds over rear wheel in second. As I say, he's slowly running out of fuel. He's got a couple of laps left in that. He's got 8.5 seconds over rear wheel in second. He's got a little bit more fuel, be able to run slightly longer. And then there's 3.5 back to Raoul. Zuzim's right on his rear bumper as well as they head into this first turn. So I think they may overtake Dizzy. Zuzim's trying to make a move on Raoul. Not quite able to do it this time. Both very consistent, very fast drivers. So running side by side then into this second chicane. Again, Raoul's got the slight advantage of the rear, but Zuzim's is running lovely around the side. Managed to keep the advantage and take that third position back off Raoul. That's a good move by Zuzim's there, just keeping his foot on the power. Rolling it side by side through that first bit of the chicane, up into third then for Zuzim's. So he's only 3.2 seconds back from rear wheel 72 now. Dizzy's breaking away a little bit, 9.2 seconds, that gap's extended to. Like I say, we'll have to take on a fair old chunk of fuel, so let's just keep an eye on him, see if he does come in this lap. He's braving it for one more. Lost a bit of time now to rear wheel. Again, still got Zuzim's and Raoul slowly closing him in. Hyder Rider then back up into fifth. He also will have to pit any minute. He does do this lap. So Don to sixth. A little bit out on his own at the minute. He's got 10 seconds now to Raoul, 10.5 seconds now to Raoul in front. Steve Scooby 3.5 seconds back. So 18 minutes left of this race. Steve Scooby slowly making his way back up through this race then. So he's got just under half a tank, fresh set of racing mediums. Let's see. Don't think he'll be able to get involved with the guys in front yet. Never know, see what happens come the end of the race. So Big Les Cunnin, 7th position, coming under a bit of pressure from Dory in 8th behind. Rider then. Off tank fuel, fresh set of racing mediums. To get involved in the fight with Big Les and Dory in front. So Maggie Snail still holding on to that penalty. He's gripping that hard, 4.7 seconds. He's had that for a few laps now. He's got a 6-second gap in front to Hyder Rider. He's got Reg GT closing him in though. He's only 1.4 seconds back. He's on a fresh set of racing mediums as well. He's holding a big tank of fuel. He's on the fresher rubber, which is just allowing him to get the drive out of the corners. Baggy Snails, yeah, he's coming in the pits anyway this lap, so Reg GT does get promoted up into 10th. He's got a big old gap in front to Big Les Kun. He's got 7.9 seconds. Big Les has got plenty of fuel and quite decent tyres, but he has lost a position to Hyder Rider in front. And Dory. So he was leading this little fight. Now down in 9th, so Hyder Rider and Dory making their way through. Slowly pulling away. They've got a second gap over Big Les as well. I'm sure he'll be able to close that back in. So next target on the list for Hyder Rider is Dory. What's that gap? Just less than half a second currently. Slowly closing in as well. So again, starting to push his way back through the pack is Hyder Rider. Clipping the wall, that's going to slow him down even more. He's lost more time, he's clipped the wall on the exit as well. That's 1.3 seconds now, that gap. Almost 1.4. You can see it slipping away slowly. Hyder Rider making a move down the inside of Dory, taking that 7th position off of him now. Dory's going to have a good tow down this start-finish straight though. See, closing him in. Rider's staying over to that left-hand side. There's the better line into this. It's not the better line, but it is the defensive line into this corner. He's backed out. Dory's just run the brakes late and run around the outside of him, up into 7th then again for Dory. He's allowing Big Les Kun to slowly close these guys back in. 0.7 of a second between Big Les and Hyder Rider. So Reg GT still in that 10th position. Snails seems to have spent an awful long time in the pits, unless he's been out, smashed his car up and come back in. He's now down in 12th position. West Ham Daz in 11th. Stevie Mack in 13th. Winnie in 14th, just coming in the pits, so he's got damage on the rear end as well. Pilgrim Paddy 15th. So Zuzims then, quarter of a tank. Semi-worn racing mediums, 1.8 seconds gap over rear wheel, who's just coming in the pits. Now we've got Raul Siem Baba, so he's got a 5.4 second gap to Zuzims in front. Zuzims is in a better position. Raul's on the racing hards as well. So he's on the slower tyre, he's holding less fuel, and they are more worn than Zuzims in front. So he's got Dizzy to worry about as well, so Dizzy's out on fresh rubber. 2.6 second gap he's got to Raul in front, 2.4 now, so that gap coming down pretty rapidly. So what's he got? 8.2 seconds to Zuzims in front. So again, he will be able to jump both of these in the pits, possibly lose it again later when he has to come in for fuel. Dotter's still not out of this one yet either. He's got plenty of fuel. The tyre's not looking too bad. So gap's just starting to open up now. 8.4 seconds gap back to 5th place rear wheel. Dory still fighting out with Hyder Rider. He's managed to keep that 6th still though. He's run himself wide through there. That's going to slow him down. Just gives Dory a little bit of breathing room as he comes into the chicane of death. It's the last place you want someone bolted onto the rear of your car. So Big Les has managed to close that gap down then a little bit due to Hyder Rider's tiny little mistake. He's got it down to 0.8 of a second. So Dory coming in the pits, Hyder coming in the pits. Nicholas Kuhn stops out, so he does promote himself up into 6th. His fuel's not looking bad, but his tyres are looking a bit beaten up. Reg GT up into 7th. Again, tyres looking not too bad. Plenty of fuel on board. Steve Scooby also not long been in the pits. Fresh rubber, half a tank. 8th position. Let's see where Steve Scooby ends up at the end of this one. So Ryder Ryder 9th, and he's just been in for fresh rubber and half a tank as well. He's gone past Dory. He took on exactly the same amount of fuel by the look of it. Snails back up to 11th then, still holding on to that big chunk of penalty, 4.3 seconds still. Managing to get past West Ham Daz through that pit stop. So West Ham Daz in 12th, Stewie Mac 13th, Winnie 14th, and Pilgrim Paddy coming in fresh set of boots and fuel. So Raoul's in then. Zuzums is in 4th, he must have come in last lap. So Dizzy has got about a third of a tank. Semi-decent set of racing mediums, 7-second lead over Zuzums, who has got a fresh set of racing mediums and just under half a tank. He's closing the gap down as well, 6.7 seconds. So we've got about 9 minutes remaining. Oh, I don't know what's... Oh, Dizzy's picked up a massive penalty there. Dizzy's picked up a penalty the size of the moon. So he's down into 2nd then. He must have got that hairpin wrong. He's still got 0.7 of a second penalty to lose as well. He's got to get back onto Zuzum's rear bumper to stand with any chance of a fight. Wheel 72 still not having a bad race currently, 3rd position. Probably be able to run to the end on that fuel, maybe. Don Dotter then, as they head through the chicane of death, coming under some serious pressure from Rousey and Baba for 4th and 5th. So Rouse having a good race then. He's started from the back of the pack twice, if you like. So he started from 13th position in race from off the line, and then had a bit of a crash. He's just snuck past Don Dotter there as well down the inside. Dotter's going to get a good tow though, might try and make a move back into turn 1. Raoul's going to keep it over to that left hand side, gives him the advantage into the first turn. He's got a good run out though, as Don Dotter. If he can just keep next to Raoul, he's not managed to do that. If he'd managed to keep next to Raoul, he would have had the inside line into this turn, possibly taking that place back off of Raoul. So let's just see where Zuzums is. Dizzy still keeping him in check. 0.8 of a second gap between these two. Still holding a little bit of that penalty there, then Diz needs to try and lose that without losing too much time to Zuzums in front. So Zuzums just eking out a little bit more time from him. Can't accept that, MRC Shuri. Rear wheel 72 in 3rd then. So he's now got Raoul CM Baba 4.2 seconds back. Don Dotter's still there though. He's only going to take a slight mistake from Raoul in front. 0.3 of a second between these two drivers. Dondotter decided not to go for a lunge into the last turn, so Raoul keeping that fourth position. Maybe Dondotter can get a good run down the start-finish straight. He's a little bit too far back now, I think. Raoul would have just kept it over to that left-hand side as he has done. Gamer Dad, evening mate, how you doing? Oh, does he go for a late move? Oh, he doesn't. I thought you were going to do that then, Don. It was looking promising, but it could have been dangerous for both of you, especially with damage on heavy in these lobbies. So Steve Scooby back up into 6th, then coming under immense pressure from Big Les Kun. Managing to hold him off into turn 1 though. So 5.5 minutes remaining of this race. Big Les Kun is making another move into the second hairpin. Sorry, it's not his first hairpin, what am I talking about? So still got 6th then Steve Scooby, we'll come back to that one. So Dory a bit far back from that fight now. He's got a 3-second gap to Big Les in front. Reg GT, he's only 1.8 seconds back. It's going good, Mr. Gamer Dad. Just finished work. Oh, that's a shame. So Reg GT in 9th then. He's not managing to close that gap on Dory in front. Rider Rider then, unfortunately now 20 seconds back in 10th position from Reg GT. Baggy Snails 7.3 back. He doesn't want to let go of that penalty, does he? Become attached to it. I'm sure he would have liked to have kept it at 4.7. West Ham does then, bouncing his Renault round in 12th. Stewie Mac still in 13th, not managed to get back into the fight really this race. Started off well for Stewie Mac. In 14th, he's also holding a bit of a penalty, 2.8 seconds. Pilgrim Paddy looking a bit smashed in on the front end there. A few dents and scrapes on his car by the look of it. So we throw ourselves back up to current race leaders. Zuzim's 3.7 seconds now. He's got over Diz. Diz still holding that penalty. Only 3.5 minutes remaining. Zuzim's just extending his lead a little bit more. It's just taking over that 4-second mark. And all the drivers seem to just be getting a little lift through there in these Renaults. So Raoul then, he's 4.9 seconds, closing in slowly on Dizzy. You can see him just taking that last turn there. So Dondotter in 4th, he's now coming under pressure from Rear Wheel in 5th. Let's just have a look at Don's tyres. Oh, they're looking pretty good. Rear Wheel's looking slightly more worn. He's got not a lot of fuel either, has Rear Wheel. So he's got enough to last to the end of the race, or he's going to be well out of the fight if he has to pick a bit of fuel at the end of this one. So Big Les Kun 6th. Dory 7th. Reg GT has closed him in. That's less than half a second between these two. No late dive from Reg GT. Good drive out of that first chicane though. So it's Dory and Reg GT around this first hairpin. Still Dory keeps it. So there's opportunities into the second hairpin then if Reg GT stays as close as he is to Dory. Just letting him pull away a little bit there. second. This is the place to do it if he's going to. A little bit too far back, I think. So Steve Scooby then, 9th. Oh, Steve Scooby's had a mare. He smashed into the wall. He was in 6th position. I wondered where he was. He was fighting it out with Big Les. He's got a great big dent there. So now down in 9th position. But he's not going to pit for this, I wouldn't have thought. So he'll run the rest of the race with that damage. Oh, Hyder Rider getting the chicane of death or wrong. That's exactly what can happen there. So Hyder Rider just flattened the front end of his car, losing a lot of time as well. He smashed the front end so flat that I think it's still driving straight. Maggie's still getting a bit attached to that penalty. We've only got 15 seconds left on the clock. So these will be the last few drivers that possibly get an extra lap in. Baggy Snails is slowing down. He doesn't want to do the extra lap. He hasn't got the fuel. He's just run out of fuel as Baggy Snails. And Baggy is actually out of gas. Unbelievable. Is he going to keep that 11th place? Just from West Ham Daz. No, he doesn't, in fact. West Ham Daz just pipped him. So we've got Stewie Mac then. He'll be coming home in 13th. That's just fine. Race leader. So he just does come around the last turn himself. Fought his way from the back of the pack, did Zuzims. Swapped P1 position between himself. Nice great big handbrake from Zuzims, thank you. Swapping positions with this man here for first place throughout this race. Second place for Diz then. Rousey and Baba did close him down then massively towards the end of that race. 4th for Raoul. Renault 72 then come home in 5th. He did have enough fuel at the end of that one. Big Les Cun. He's going to come home in 6th place. Having a good fight with Steve Scooby near the end of that race, but Steve Scooby looking like he might have got the chicane of death a bit wrong. Dory, they're keeping that 7th place. Reg GT not managing to quite take it off him before the end of this one. So Steve Scooby, as I say, with the old flat front end, handbraking it across the line. 9th place for him. And Hyder Rider, we've just seen, oh no, it's Hyder Rider who flattened the nose of his car. 10th position for Hyder. We're going to get a bit of a Driftertronic. Already seen West Ham Daz, Baggy Snails and all the other boys. Nope, we'll just get a plough into the wall. That'll do though, Hyder. So that's your results for tonight. I will have to pull those up. I'll get a screenshot of that for next week. So that was your race positions then. Zuzim's taking P1. Dizzy P2, Don Dotter P3, Raoul in P4, Rear Wheel P5, Big Les in 6th, Dory in 7th, Reg GT 8th, Steve Scooby 9th, Hyder Rider 10th, West Ham Daz 11th, Baggy Snails 12th in the end, so West Ham Daz did just pip him right on the line because Baggy ran out of fuel. Stewie Mac 13th, Winnie in 14th, and Pilgrim Paddy 15th. And we've got Don Dotter taking fastest lap of the race. You'll be happy with that. Extra point on the board. So yeah, he takes that those 3rd place points and the fastest lap. He'll be happy with that, definitely. Baggy swearing about the game. Yeah, the penalty system's not great at the minute. Cheers, mate. I quite like the Nords. That's pretty much the track I grew up with on Gran Turismo, in the sense of getting GT Sport. So I was just going around Potter McPotts and putting the Berg on time trials. Yeah, I know the track inside out. I just don't know braking points in these particular cars that I'm driving this season. I don't mind the Tokyo tracks. They're not bad. As long as I can keep it in a straight line. We'll see what happens tomorrow night. But yes, it was good racing from all. I was expecting to see a lot more incidents into the chicane of death. But not quite living up to its name. A couple of incidents. No problem Don Dotter, no problem Reg GT, no problem Hyder Rider. Just give me a few shouts out of the PlayStation chat. So, round 4 of Renault Megane Trophy Cup from P1. Forget where next week is. I keep forgetting to pull that data up. But yeah, there will be round 5 next week. Funnily enough. I'm actually back tomorrow. That's exactly what Sean's talking about. So I'm actually behind the wheel again tomorrow. Last 2 rounds of the GTTCC. We've got, I forget which Tokyo it is. It's one of the Tokyo tracks. And then the Green Hell, the Nordschleife. But yeah, I like the Nords. I like it. It's my challenge track. It's the one to try and put the lap times in. That's the one. So yeah, I didn't have a bad race there in season 7, season 8 maybe. And then I had a good race there against CJW. I believe that was last season as well. Yeah, we've got it again this season. Happy. I like Nords. I might not like it after tomorrow though, we'll see. So yeah, I'm back tomorrow night for myself racing. That's the GTTCC. That's 9 PM start. Got a 20-minute quali and then 2 half-an-hour races for you lot. And then back Sunday for P1 boys again. They're running the Super Formula League again. So that's the mix of the Honda and Toyotas, which are pretty much F1 cars. So that will be the new rejigged round 2. They were running it separate lobbies, Hondas and Toyotas, but it didn't quite work out. So they've amalgamated and reset all the points, etc. Then Monday night, 8:30 for Next Gen Minis, sponsored by Chewit Racing. And then Wednesdays, we've got the GR3 Team versus Team, hosted by Next Gen, sponsored by Team Oliver Racing. That's on Wednesday at 8:30. And then back next Thursday for round 5 of this from wherever it is. I forget. And I also am not looking. How about that? So, that's about it. So there was chat last night between myself and R80 Racing about a steering wheel that he had that he was going to give away. Well, too late, it's gone. Somebody's already claimed that. So yes, I'm pretty much going to end this stream here. As I say, you know what's coming up in the next few days. You got me racing tomorrow. Got Super Formulas on Sunday at 9. The Minis at 8:30 on Monday. Team versus Team at 8:30 on Wednesday, and then these again next Thursday, 9 o'clock. So come and check them out. Leave a like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Tell your mates, tell your mum. My name's Dark Smoker. I'm out of here.